Getting your vehicle from stationary to movement is the trickiest part of all. So this is a beginner's guide on how to take off without stalling. So if you can master this, you will never ever stall again. Welcome to Driving School WA Tutorials. This video will teach you how not to stall ever again. How difficult it is, what happens, what are the components, what happens inside of the engine when all of those vibration and shuddering goes on. So the main parts of the clutch of a manual transmission vehicle. We have two discs. One is moving disc that's connected to the engine. And the second static disc is connected to your wheels, to the chassis of your car. So it's important to understand how the two discs interact in order to be able to take off smoothly, how to transfer the power from the engine smoothly to your wheels. And once you learn to do that properly, you will never stall again. So this knowledge is extraordinarily important for those, starting to learn a manual transmission, because it's just inevitable that you will have to handle it right. The disc on the left, the disc that's powered by your engine, as long as your engine is running, that disc is going to be rotating, okay? So as you can see in this little video, there's a disc that's connected to the engine, which is powered by the engine. As long as the engine's running, it's going to be rotating, okay? Which will power the disc that's connected to the engine. Now, when you lift the foot, if you do it suddenly, your vehicle's going to, obviously launch forward unexpectedly, and you're going to feel like you're losing control over it, or potentially will stall. Now, to do it smoothly, you've got to join them gently by raising the clutch really carefully. So it's about raising your clutch to the friction point where you're going to feel the vibration, and then upon feeling that vibration you will have to, which means that vibration means that the two discs have touched, okay? So that's the time when you need to increase the speed of the engine, which is the obviously it's going to add an extra power to the disc that's just touched the static disc. That's basically, if you think about it, it hits a ton of steel. Like, if your vehicle weighs 1,000 kilograms, so at that point in time you've got to increase the speed by accelerating, and then in the seesaw principle sort of action, so one foot goes down, one foot goes up, you would need to smoothly transfer the power of your engine to the wheels. If you do it suddenly, your vehicle will launch forward suddenly. So if you just drop the pedal upwards, so you've got to control it with your foot. So this is what's going to happen if you do it suddenly. Now, in the second scenario, you will have to be more careful. So once you join them, you've got to increase the speed of the disc that's rotating in order to engage the whole car into movement. So again, it's about the transfer of power from your engine to the wheels. Now, how easy or how difficult it will be to take off without stalling or without launching forward uncontrollingly, it's going to depend on a few factors. Obviously, your knowledge of how it happens, your ability to control it. Apparently, the human foot has 17 muscles, and a lot of times we say, you will probably be using some of those muscles that you don't even know you own. It's about the feel of it. It's about getting used to each different cars. Every car feels different. It'll depend on the size of your engine as well. If your engine is more powerful, it's going to be less difficult to take off. Even if you drop the clutch a bit too suddenly, it will still potentially be powerful enough to engage the disc that's static, that's connected to your wheel, to the car, to engage the entire weight of your car into the movement. So in the next video on manual transmission and controlling clutch, we will explain practically how it should feel, and at which point we reach the point where what we call a friction point, where the two discs touch. and at what intensity we should accelerate, and at which sort of rate we should keep raising the clutch versus the accelerator going inward. So it's always in a seesaw type of, movement. One foot comes up and one foot comes in. Now, once we've taken off, once we've gained momentum, we've got to raise the foot off the clutch, and we've got to remove our foot off the clutch. It should be very simple once you repeated it a few times, but without understanding how to do it, it is almost impossible. You can struggle for months. And, we had a number of students who struggled and who couldn't, simply do it well, just because of the lack of explanation and obviously the poor guidance, and you can repeat it so many times. But the worst thing about wrong repetition is that it's not going to, your progress is not only stagnating, it's going to put you backwards, because you have to correct what you're doing wrong. It's potentially going to require a lot more work than if you didn't do it at all. So it is very important to understand what happens in there in order to do it. Once again, the disc on the left is connected to the engine, and as long as the engine's on, it's going to be rotating. So you've got to join them nice and gentle. That way you can smoothly transfer the power from the engine to the wheel. This is how the two discs, the shaft disc and the clutch disc, interact. And this is really important for learners, for beginners, to understand what happens inside of the engine. So if you can master this, you will never ever stall again. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.